When exposing crime, you are treated as committing a crime. You are even ruled by criminals themselves. Coming up. Our dear friend Fadiel Adams has ultimately responded to General Mkhwanazi. In an interview with Clement Manyathela, he tried by all means to respond to Clement Manyathela's questions, but his failure to respond to direct questions, ending up being all over the show, it showed a whole lot of loopholes, and one could tell that Fadiel Adams is just a big mouth, but beyond that big mouth, there is nothing. And Clement Manyathela made sure that he left no stones unturned. And Clement's questions totally exposed Fadiel Adams' weakness and the fact that he really has got nothing to offer at all. His first mistake was to undermine Mkhwanazi to a point of calling Mkhwanazi a 4-star general. That's where I noticed that, okay, this man is clueless. He has got no clue of who he is dealing with. By him undermining Mkhwanazi, big mistake. Listen to Clement Manyathela here. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much, guys. I'll just let this interview to roll so that you understand and judge for yourself whether Fadiel Adams has got anything to offer. Listen to this.
Were you in possession of classified information? Because it seems like that is what General Mkhwanazi was more concerned about from his testimony today.
You know, Mkhwanazi is a man, he's a walking contradiction. I was in possession of information that was slid under my office door or found its way into my office. The information appeared to be authentic, but I could not confirm this. The best people to confirm this would be the South African Police Services. I took the information to the nearest police station and I said to them, you might want to have a look at this, and I opened the case. That's the whole story.
And what?
It's a constant.
Sorry.
It's a concern. Look, the case is sub judice, so I can only say so much, but it's a real concern to me that a police general is more concerned about where the information comes from than the actual alleged crimes in that docket. Mm-hmm. That is a real concern to me. That the same general wants to minimize the effect of alleged fraud and corruption amounting to hundreds of millions of rands, possibly, and he wants to diminish this to an HR concern. This is not an HR concern. The question I have, and I think the general must answer this, is that this is not in his jurisdiction. These alleged crimes happened in Pretoria. He's the Provincial Commissioner for KZN. Why is he so invested in this? Because I don't hear the Provincial Commissioner for Gauteng saying a word. Mm-hmm. It really boggles the mind.
So this information that came through these classified documents, you said they were slipped under your office. Are you saying that you're not able to tell us what that involved, the case that you had opened?
I would like that to come out in court, but I can tell you that it's very concerning. I can tell you that the amounts involved are huge. And I can tell you that I do believe that this whole probably goes a whole lot deeper than what it appears.
Did you know?
What I can tell you.
Yes, go ahead.
You go first. No, you go first.
Did you know at the time when you received that document that it was classified?
There was a number of the pages that were marked top secret. It was there. But now you must understand, I've been a member of Parliament for a whole 3 months. I'm finding my way around these buildings, finding out who's who, which commission deals with what, who do you go to report this, that, the other. Because I also didn't know who to trust. So I decided to take it to the authorities. Now, I can't understand why a general has a problem with me taking information to his own institution until I think about it. Because the general claims to have information that criminalizes a full minister and a full deputy national commissioner, but he didn't take it to the police station. He called a press conference. This is the same general that's demanding accountability and due process from me as an MP. But as a general, what does he do with information?
Yeah.
He sensationalizes it.
Well, to be fair, Fadiel, from what he told the commission is that he tried to speak to the National Police Commissioner, he tried to get the attention of the president, he tried to speak to the police minister, he went to the portfolio committee on police. All those attempts had failed, and he says that's why he ended up deciding to go and hold that press briefing. But I don't want us to focus much on that, because he's answering
just before you do, just before you skip that point.
Yeah,
he can speak to whoever he wants to. What does the Corruption Act say? It says that if you are aware of criminality, it is your responsibility to lay a charge.
Yeah, and of course
that's what he should have done.
Yeah, well, as a member of parliament, when you get information that's top secret, that is classified, one of the things you would do is to go to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. Why didn't you consider that option?
It didn't exist at the time, sir. That committee was only formulated a few weeks afterwards. Remember, committees were still being set up at the time.
When exactly did this information get to you?
I didn't write down the date, but I think it was early in September. But take it a step further.
So it was early in September. What year was it? What year was it?
Last year. It was 2024.
So in September last year, we didn't have committees in parliament that had formed?
No. There were committees formed, but we didn't know who was who in which particular zoo.
But you just said that you didn't go to the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence because the committees had not been formed. You are saying that this information got to you in September last year.
Will you allow me to clarify?
Yes, please.
I was still finding my feet at that point. I'd just been called to the Committee for State Security. I've been brand new on the Committee for Police. I didn't even know what the JSCI was doing at the time. I took it to the police station, where I'm assuming the information in here will be treated as top secret. I did not take it to the police. I did not post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think I did the responsible thing. But let me tell you this, sir. In a country where crime and corruption is rampant, and this criminality is being kept as top secret, left, right, and center, think pala. How much more of an appetite for this do South Africans have? Do we not have the right to have these things investigated? Do we not have the right to have the corruption aired? The thieves locked up? Is that not what we're about? Or am I being asked to play a part of a system that almost endorses criminality and corruption because I won't? I refuse to.
Here's the challenge. Here's the challenge that the KZN Police Commissioner mentioned earlier today. He says, after you laid these criminal cases, there are investigators that try to get a hold of you to try and get more information, and you didn't respond to their requests. Did you really get the investigators contact you and you ignored them?
So I'd been contacted by the IDAC. I'd given the file to the IDAC. I was then contacted by the Inspector General for Intelligence. I gave him what I had left. And now I'm getting calls from people claiming to be policemen, wanting to meet wherever. And I said, you know what, where are you from, Johannesburg? I'll come to Johannesburg. I'm more than happy to meet you at your office. I never got a return call. Mkhwanazi must not be selective in how he presents information, sir. Here's my thing. I've already given my disclosure to the IDAC. Do I need a parallel investigation? I think not. I don't know who to trust right here. This is the sad part.
So you do confirm, though, that investigators did call you to try and get more information. You just didn't trust them because you were not sure if they're legitimate.
I'd already handed over my file to the IDAC. I didn't want to meet another investigator because I didn't know who was covering for what. I didn't know who was trying to have a look at the information before the time. Please understand, this is very sensitive. And I was satisfied that I had already spoken to investigators. Why do I need to speak to another lot of investigators? Let me take it a step further for you. When I laid the charge at Grand Central Police Station, the docket was collected by the Office of the Provincial Commissioner a year ago. I've not been contacted by that office yet. Do you understand why the alarm bells were going off left, right, and center?
So the charges that you've laid, are they more to do with the vetting processes, or are there issues around the abuse? Because General Mkhwanazi doesn't seem to have an issue with mentioning what you went to the police station for. So which is why I'm constantly asking, why are you uncomfortable to mention that when it's already in the public domain? Was the issue here the vetting processes, or was it an issue of the secret fund in the SAPS being abused?
One of the issues was the vetting processes and the appointment of that young brigadier from BMW. who we were told in the portfolio committee by senior policemen was above board, which I didn't believe. Secondly, it was the abuse of the COVID police fund.
Okay, so the issue was. Okay, got you. The issue of vetting, which is one of them, did you raise that with the State Security Agency?
I raised it in portfolio, in the police portfolio. I also questioned the vetting of the very same policemen that are now on trial, that whether or not they had security clearances. I was told it was all above board. Apparently that was a lie as well. I also questioned the security clearance of many of our provincial commissioners. These are all the things that must come out. I, though, do take umbrage at General Mkhwanazi and the manner that he's handling this thing. Because I tell you again, this was a Gauteng issue, seeing that it's all territorial, because I heard him talk about dockets from the Eastern Cape earlier and who the dockets belong to. Why is he so invested in this case? Why is nobody going to ask that question?
Well, part of what he said before is that the political killings task team were assisting some police officers in Gauteng, and that's when there were issues now that were raised, even by these business people that are seemingly connected to some politicians. And that's where his concern arises from, that when help was sought from the political killings task team, and there were some syndicates that were being exposed here in Gauteng, that's when you started seeing the political interference.
Well, I can't speak for any other politician, but let me challenge Mkhwanazi to mention my name in the same breath as these cartels or businessmen, because I certainly never met any one of them, nor do I want to. Fact of the matter is, as a portfolio, we've debated the use of the political killing task team. My feedback on that is that it's a total waste of money. On the Cape Flats, we're losing 10 boys a day, 3,000 a year. I feel that that money can be directed here. The political killing task team is costing us untold millions. These people are living it up 4 and 5 star. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the costs for these 132 dockets. I say it slowly, 132 dockets. Do you understand that we'll probably lose almost 100 kids over the weekend here in Cape Town? Yeah, we're just saying spend the money better. SAPS is under financial strain. Why is Mkhwanazi fighting that?
Well, and here's an opportunity for you as well, Mr. Fadiel, to somehow advocate for a commission of inquiry or even for a task team of sorts that can look into those crimes that you're speaking about. Remember, it wasn't, to be fair on Mkhwanazi, it wasn't him who decided that there must be a political killings task team. It was a whole process. There was a big concern around how many politicians were dying, and even some municipal managers in KwaZulu-Natal. It was the president who said, let there be a commission of inquiry, after which there was a recommendation for there to be a political killings task team. And General Mkhwanazi and even Fanima Samola, the National Police Commissioner, seemed to be happy with the successes of the political killings task team.
So we should ask ourselves, how many years ago was that? And are the killings still happening at the same rate? And I certainly don't believe that they are. But here's what I want to tell you. A young man, I can't understand why I can't remember his name right now, an ANC councillor in KZN who could not be corrupted. He was killed. He was killed with an AK-47, bought with the same money that is found in the COVID slush fund. Why is that not being discussed yet? Why is Mkhwanazi not talking about that? He was a fine young man. He could not be corrupted and he was killed. Now his killer sits in Westville prison. He's spoken to me. He mentions the municipal manager from a certain municipality. He mentions a certain mayor. He was used. He says that the police, KZN police, drove him from the murder scene. He's willing to come and testify before this commission.
Have you shared this information with the police?
Yes, I've shared it in portfolio. Now hear this.
With the police? Have you shared it with the police?
We are working on getting that thing out now. I want you to hear this because I'm telling this to the nation.
Hold on, but I think that's very important as well. I'll give you the opportunity now. You had information, one second, I'll give you a chance. You had information, you say, slipped under your door. You decided to go and approach the police station to open charges. Now, here is information where there is some level of criminality, and you choose this one doesn't deserve to be taken to the police station but deserves to be dealt with in Parliament. Where is the consistency there?
Do you not feel that we should vet this information, that we should interview this man, that we should get a written statement, that we should get a commissioner of oaths out there? Do you understand that all of this takes time?
I understand, but also I would argue that even with the information you received, which was top secret, that you could have gotten advice from even anybody in Parliament to ask, how do I deal with sensitive information like this? But you felt strongly that this is information that needs to be taken immediately to the police. And yet with this case, you thought Parliament is the first option.
So this information has all been written down, typed out with totals, names and dates. It was very simple. There was nothing for me to vet. That was now a job for SAPS.
And yet it was
this young man that I'm speaking to, can I finish?
Yes,
this
sure.
young man that I'm speaking to inside of prison, I need to make sure that his story checks out. I don't want to be wasting anyone's time. Nobody's given me a dossier to say this, that, and the other. Here's the ID number, here's the serial number of the gun, here's the policeman that drove him away. I don't have any of that, sir.
So what do you think? Do you think Fadiel Adams has got what it takes to challenge the big guns like General Mkhwanazi? Because if you ask me, dude, he's a small fish in a huge ocean, and Mkhwanazi is gonna walk all over him. You can even tell, even now, in this Madlanga Commission that is in progress as we speak, that Mkhwanazi has got evidence for days, guys. You listen to his language. He keeps on saying to the commissioners, he keeps on saying, okay, guys, I've got a lot of information, but I will give you, there's just too much information, but I'll just give you this. I've got too much information, I've got too much evidence, but I'll give you this. Then there's a person who has got an avalanche of evidence. And I'm thinking, my God, where is Fadiel Adams in all this? Because one of the mistakes that Fadiel Adams did was immediately after Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi exposed the Mkhwanazi on the 6th of July, without even gathering enough evidence, then the following week, Fadiel Adams was on top of Mkhwanazi, attacking Mkhwanazi, blaming everyone who's supporting Mkhwanazi. Then, for me, that's where red flags rose. I was like, this guy is hiding something. And boy, was I right. Yo, guys, I fear for this guy. Because you can tell when you are listening to him right now that there are some powerful people behind him who are winding him. But these people are failing to advise him to be very careful with his words. I think they are capitalizing on the fact that he's a big mouth. He's not scared to talk. But now, a big mouth with no brains is even more dangerous. His first mistake of undermining Mkhwanazi is a big one. Is a huge one. And my fear is that Mkhwanazi is gonna chew this guy and spit him out. What do you think? Let me hear your comment below, and of course, if you are coming for the first time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.